I've never, in all my kind of professional career, had the opportunity to go and learn and study solely with a group of women. And I thought that it was exactly the perfect time for me. Having become recently a CEO, very strange for women to be in that kind of position, I thought this is probably just what I needed, and actually it proved to be right.
When I joined, I wanted to lead with more confidence. In certain areas, I'm a pretty confident person, but I'd say the skills of enabling and empowering other women around me and stepping into leadership, I think, was most attractive.
Signed up in terms of executive leadership and becoming a new executive head, and how different it was to being just a head teacher. So I just wanted to build my confidence around other colleagues who were already heads and were looking for that next aspiring role, as it were.
I knew where I wanted to go, but I didn't know whether I had the tools in order to be able to access those roles in which I hope to achieve in the future. And what I wanted to get out of it most was, more importantly above everything else, was just networking with other women, other people who are striving to achieve the same goals in which I'm trying to achieve.
My little girl's 2, and it kind of made me feel that I could never be ahead until she was older. And coming here and being able to talk about it and going, you know what, I find it really hard when I'm getting called back to her, and I want to go and play and do bath and be that amazing mum, but I want to be a really good leader too, and how I balance that and actually being honest about it.
Did refocus and sharpen that outlook that I had around equality and what that really means, and also what institutionally is happening in the workplace. And I think there's been a lot of agendas this year around women and women's rights, so I think it's been timely on so many levels.
It's just nice to be amongst women and share your experiences, your concerns at work, and be supported by women alike. I think that's really important.
I feel more secure with the role that I've got. I was already an exec when I started the programme, but I feel more confident in that role. And definitely Jan as a facilitator has been instrumental in that ownership and the guidance that she's given us along the way of just standing tall and believing in yourself. Really, that's really been the most powerful for me.
So I think what it's done for me is given me the confidence and the belief in myself to have the determination to do the job that I need to do, make the changes that I need to make, while still continuing to be the person that I am.
It's made me really think about the kind of head I want to be and how I will try and empower women in a more direct way, rather than just assuming things will happen if you just encourage people in the same kind of way.
It being all women has actually empowered me, seeing other women who want to achieve the same things as I do and have the same moral purpose and the same visions as I do, and the passion, there's a shared passion.
We've all had a voice, we've all been really respectful of each other, and it's really nice to be, you know, in schools you're in a female dominated environment anyway, but to be amongst women of the intellect that the group has and the experience that the group has, I think, you know, being a woman in that and being able to express about family life and the pressures around how we cope with the day-to-day when we've got different temperaments and different moods, you can be a lot more honest about that in that environment. Yeah.
But what was really apparent was that all the women here, there's almost an imposter syndrome for a while, and we've all come together to think about what is a leader and what's an authentic leader. So it's much more powerful to get a group of women together than I thought it would be, but also within education, within high positions in education, and so it made it aspirational, but also the connections and the network element of having women at different stages of life and getting advice was really, really helpful.
I think it's given us permission to talk about issues around gender that exist within the workplace that we probably wouldn't have done if it had been a mixed cohort. And also, you know, there's this synchronicity because at the point that we're doing this women-only course, there's been all this talk around, you know, Me Too and all the difficulties that women face within the workplace. There's been all the revelations around the gender pay gap. So there's probably never been a more empowering time to be a woman in a position of leadership.
Rehearsals that we've had of conversations and
selling our attributes that might not necessarily be the things that are on job descriptions, but the things that actually make us really good leaders that might not be there. And going out to look at jobs now, I'm really confident to sell those parts of me that before I kind of went, oh, it's just because I'm a woman. Actually, they're the things that make us good.
The use of role models, so tonight was very powerful in terms of having women in business. That's been a key aspect. In education we can be quite locked into ourselves, but when you do get to system leadership, learning from businesses and learning from that wider structure is definitely something that is beneficial.
I think it's about being yourself and understanding the role of women at home and in school, and the professional and the personal self. And that's one thing that's really come out. And for me, as an assistant head teacher, when I look to, with the head teacher employing the staff, I really want to promote flexible working, because I think the best candidate doesn't always have to work full time. And being at home with your children, nurturing them, shouldn't disadvantage anyone in the workplace.
Don't be afraid to respond to the needs of women. Women work differently to men, and we need to recognise and celebrate those differences. We talk about diversity in the workplace, and I sometimes think we overlook about gender diversity. And so if you're going to organise a course for women, make sure that you dress and you talk to the things that women want to talk about.
The fact that we had triads within the course, it meant that we, by that point, had had a few sessions and built a real honest and open relationship with the other women. So I felt like I could really delve into and be challenged, and it left me with a real sense of identifying things I didn't know were strengths and areas that I was going to develop that was going to have an impact on the people I worked with directly.
That your career doesn't have to end when you get to 60. I think that's been really key for me, because I was thinking, oh, I'm coming to the end. But actually what it's done is made me think there's so much more. And my executive coach said, you can have it all. And I think that's profound for me.